U.S. hypersonic missile tests continue to fail, making America increasingly vulnerable to sneak attack by Russia, China. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me his truth and rule well. And peace and blessings to all you brethren out there pushing this word in all sincerity and truth. To the 144,000, the house of David, the elect, Shalom. To Brother Dama Agabar, he from GMS Los Angeles with another lesson. And this one is from this article I came across on naturalnews.com, which says that, America's hypersonic missile tests are continuing to fail. And that America is increasingly vulnerable to sneak attack by Russia and China. And, and this is all part of the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. The Lord is in control of all things, all right? And the Lord is in control of all these kingdoms here upon the planet Earth, and He's in control of Esau, Edom. And it's through the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that He is causing America's missile test to fail, because ultimately the Lord has something nice and some fire, set up for America, which is known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures, all right? And it's ultimately to be burned with nuclear fire. This is how the Lord is going to judge that great horde that sitteth upon the scarlet colored beast. The colored beast being NATO and the EU, and America is the horde that rideth upon the beast, right? Because the Lord has prophecy set up to where Babylon the Great, America, that's how America is going to go out, through nuclear fire, through these arrows that the scriptures speak about, all right? And this is how the land is going to be completely made desolate. And the Lord is setting it up like this, man. The Lord is causing these missile tests and the scientists and the Smith and the military of America to fail, all right? Because the Lord has a set plan for this place. So, okay. Daddy, I was playing again, Mama. I'll go track. Oh, hey, yeah. It's all the way go. All right. So I'm going to read a little bit of this article, and I got a couple of precepts because, we know how this thing is going to end. We know how America prophetically is going to go out. And what you see happening is no more than the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai being played out on the planet Earth. All right? Because at the end of the day, nothing's going to hinder Babylon from being destroyed, just like Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. All right, it's the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. This is, the part of the movie or the script of the scriptures that the Lord has written for the character known as Babylon the Great and Esau, Edom. So I'm gonna get a couple of these precepts, Lord willing, you brothers to be edified. It says that most Americans would have assumed that their best and brightest military commanders and national security experts were aware some years ago when Russia and China began serious efforts to develop next generation hypersonic ballistic missiles and then react by implementing a development program of our own. And guess what? The Lord put the spirit upon Gog and Magog, which is Russia in the scriptures, and China, these heathens to build these weapons, to put their gross domestic product, their the way that their countries was making money through natural gas and whatever other business ventures that they had, they've been using that money that they've been amassing and building up their military might, all right? And the Lord put the spirit on these different nations to do that, to fulfill His purpose, which is ultimately to blow Babylon off the map, all right? And this is Joel chapter 3, verse 9, and it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, and let them all come up." You see? So the Lord has put it on the spirit of these Gentiles, meaning these heathens, to be, to prepare for war. And how are they ultimately preparing for war? By building up these hypersonic missiles, man. By putting money and being heavily invested into their military, going into these, building up these missiles, building up these nuclear deterrents and S-300s and, missile defense systems, and ultimately the best missiles and the most powerful missiles on the planet to come against Babylon the Great and to come against Esau, Edom. All right, it says, "Beat your plowshares into swords." You see, what is plowshares? Whatever these countries, whatever they export. Like for instance, Russia is natural gas and different minerals and Whatever it is that their country produces that they share, that they sell on the global market, and China as well, all of their slave labor and all the money that their country has been producing and all these dollars that they've been amassing, man, they've been putting those, selling their especially China selling their pork and their grain and their minerals and different things of that nature. All these minerals for computers and televisions and technology. All the money that they've gained from selling these things and exporting these things. Now they're beaten. They turn that and they invested it into their military. And the ultimate sword that they've invested in are these supersonic, hypersonic missiles, man, which America is totally lagging in, and America totally has no defense for. Now, America has been too busy whoremongering and warmongering around the world, being caught up in everybody's business, just like that old bully on the block. He's just been relying on his intimidation and his size and his power. But, little did he know, the people that he's been bullying and beating the shit out of, they've been training, they've been preparing, they've been getting ready for that day to when the bully is going to get his ass whooped, all right? And that bully being America. So it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. You see? And now these different nations like Russia and China, who were once weak at one point, now they're strong because of their military defense. And they're, hooking up all of their allies, India, China, Iran, you know, Turkey, you know, different nations that Russia, the BRICS nation, a lot of them nations are being, put on game with Russia and China. They're giving them the technology to build these missiles so that they can eventually burn this bitch with fire, man. All right. And what has America been doing? It says, but apparently our military geniuses were more concerned about wasting trillions of dollars to convert tribal civilizations in Afghanistan and Iraq into miniaturized versions of the United States because they completely blew off what Russia and China were doing, you see? And the Lord allowed that to happen. He let, allowed the pride of Esau to basically come back and bite him in the ass, man. While he's been thinking that he's the man and nobody's ever going to destroy him, he's always going to be in power. These nations will always be under his boot. In between time, Russia and China have been building themselves up with these nukes, man. And now America is trying to get it together, but it's too late. And also, a lot of these missile defense systems that America has, they're all outdated, man. They're all old. They're all got dust and rust on them. They haven't been tended to it as they should have. But now these other countries have been, now Russia and China, they got the most sophisticated, highly functional arrows on the planet, man. All right? And even Russia got some technology that nobody has, man. And it's all going to be used to blow this place off the map, to bring the judgment upon Esau, Edom, and Babylon the Great. It says, now some years later, both of those countries have not simply successfully tested these wonder weapons. They have deployed them. And the U.S. is still struggling to catch up. In fact, testing hypersonic weapons by the Pentagon is not going well at all, putting Washington further behind and keeping America more vulnerable than ever to a lightning quick sneak attack, you see? And it's going to happen, man, because it's ultimately the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, all right? And let me get this, all right? And when you read up in Ezekiel 38th chapter, which I'm doing this to save time, hey, read it for yourself, get the understanding for yourself so you can be familiar with this. And when you read up, it speaks about Gog and Magog. Russia being guard into Iran, Russia, eventually going to shoot these, burn this place with fire, to shoot missiles and arrows upon Babylon the Great, man. All right, Salaki. All right. And hey man, it's all coming to pass. And articles like this further validify the prophecy in the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You see? It says Ezekiel 30:11, and thou shalt say, I will go up unto the land of unwalled villages, which is America. All right? America has never been invaded. America has never known war. America has always been the aggressor. They've always invaded lands and taken over lands and set up shop in other places. So this place has never been geared and prepped and built up to be invaded because the pride of this place. They never feel like they will ever be invaded. But guess what? They are going to be invaded with these nuclear missiles pretty soon, man. All right, because it's all the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. It says, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, which is America, and I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely. You can't tell me that's not America, man. Like I said, this place has never been invaded. It has never known war. All right, and that's why they dwell safely. That's why the people here are so careless and so spoiled and so prideful, man. Even to this day, a lot of these American citizens feel that America's military is still the greatest military on the planet Earth, and nothing can ever take down America. But but oh, are they sadly mistaken, man? The Lord has been saving this place for last. The Lord has been allowing you Americans and the American government to get comfortable, to be lackluster, to ride high on their pride and feel like nothing can take down the American military. They're so great. They're so strong. They're so great. And look at this place, man. Years and years, it's been declining, man. Look at the look at the average American troop, man. They got the American military man doing sensitivity training. They got to use pronouns. They got the LGBT all up in the military, transgenderism in the military. They got the soldiers walking around wearing high heels and all type of manner of bullshit. Meanwhile, China and Russia and North Korea have been, battle hardening their soldiers. Man, they're ready for war. They're ready to go in and, get down and busy. But the American military and the soldiers are all soft in the middle, man. They've been making it easier to get into the army. The PT tests are bullshit. It's weak. They're allowing women to participate in the Navy SEALs. It's just all whack and weak. And guess what? They've been dwelling safely. They've been at rest. It says all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. You see, that's talking about America, man. And that's why this article is portraying that beautifully, man. And we have the prophecy in the scriptures to back it up, man. You see? Because this place is going to be melted. This place is going to be invaded with nuclear missiles pretty soon, man. And this article is further showing you that America's, attempt to build hypersonic missiles, which can combat what Russia and China and a lot of these other nations have, is failing, man. It's struggling, right? Because the Lord is ultimately throwing a monkey wrench in everything that Esau is doing. It's just time for this place to be touched, right? Because its sin has reached unto heaven. Salaki. What? No. Not yet. Okay? Not yet. It says the first U.S. hypersonic weapon will be delayed for as long as a year under a new schedule, even as lawmakers protest that the Pentagon is lagging behind in a new technology that Russia has already used in Ukraine and China has demonstrated in a space launch, Bloomberg News report. You see? Isn't that just what I just read in Ezekiel 38th chapter, man? All right? They're at rest. What does it say? Let's get that again. It says, I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. You see? And now that that comfortability, that I'm the man right here spirit is coming back to bite Babylon in their ass, man. All right? You're behind, son. And I believe the Lord's going to put the spirit to where these things are they're never going to be up to speed. They're never going to get it right because it's the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. The Lord is dropping your defenses, okay? It says the goal to declare any early operational capability for the Lockheed Martin missile by September 30th had been moved back to sometime in the next fiscal year, according to an Air Force statement. The report continued. This, despite the fact that the U.S. spends nearly $800 billion a year on defense. So it makes you wonder, where's all this money going, man? What's taking so long? Why are they lagging it, man? It says the Defense Department has also said that the Air Launched Rapid Response Weapon, or arrow. Come on, bro. We know what the arrows are in the scriptures, all right? All right. It's these ICBMs, the ICBM missiles, man, which further proves the validity of the scriptures and what we've been telling you what these arrows are and what is going to burn, what is going to cause the lake of fire and cause this whore Babylon to be burnt. It says will likely be the nation's first operational hypersonic weapon, though again, at this point, there is no way of knowing when that will be, despite the fact that Russia has fielded an operational hypersonic weapon and has already used it in combat. And these weapons, by the way, are nuclear capable. Why? This is the Babylon judge for sins against Israel, right? This is how the Lord is going to avenge Babylon for Israel, for all that we had to suffer, the slavery, the injustices, the rape, robbery, the murder, the trauma, the enslavement, and go on, man. This is how Babylon is going to be judged by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And the Lord is allowing for you to be fully open and unprepared for it. This is Jeremiah 51:1. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. And what is that destroying wind? These ICBM missiles, which Russia has a missile. I mean, not Russia. China has a missile called a Dongfang, all right? And a Dongfang means a east wind. It's the name of one of their nuclear missiles, man. So we see what this destroying wind is talking about. And this is how you know it's not talking about ancient Babylon, because ancient Babylon wasn't destroyed with fire or a destroying wind, all right? It says, and I will send unto Babylon fanners, and they shall fan her, and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. And who are these fanners? All these different nations with these arrows, with these missiles, man. Mainly Russia and China leading the charge. Mainly Gog and Magog, Russia. Against him that bendeth, let the archers bend his bow. Yeah, you see? You know what the bow is, you know what the archer is, these arrows, these missiles. And against him that lifted himself up in his brigadine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, which is another code name for Babylon, America, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his power, of Yahweh of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. All right? So we weren't forsaken. The Lord's going to avenge us and everything that we had to suffer under the hands of Esau, Edom here in Babylon the Great. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Okay? Babylon had been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Talking about America, man, because all these nations have drunken of the cup, the philosophies, the monetary systems, the way of life of Babylon the Great. And now that everything is spiraling out of control, these nations are all mad, man. You see, because basically Esau is trying to set it up to where, he's going to be the sole ruler of everything, man. Look at India. Look how they were just cussing out Babylon the Great. Look at all these other nations that have taken up a taunting proverb against America. Everybody's just tired of this place, man. A lot of these nations, they don't want their children freaked out and being prepped to be part of the LGBT and pedo culture, man. They don't want their citizens being destroyed or their minds polluted and their way of life corrupted, man. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies, you see? And that's what's going to happen, man. It says, Yahweh have brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of Yahweh our God. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yahweh hath raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes. You see, that's Russia. The Lord is raising these nations up. That's why I read that Joel, the 3rd chapter. They'll beat their plowshares and their pruning hook into spears, man. The Lord is preparing them for the battle to come against Babylon, man. You see, and talk of nukes being fired as of late is heavy in the news because it's all part of prophecy. We're entering into those times. It says, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. See? So the Lord's going to destroy this place, man. He's going to ultimately melt it and burn it from off the face of the earth, man. You see? And we've been out here telling you and warning you for years and years that these days was going to come.
Yeah. Me a car. Come on, Dad.
Okay, I'm almost done. Give me 2 more minutes. All right? So you can see, man, hey, this is what all this is talking about. I'm going to read down, get to the point. It says, where is it? It says, and Babylon shall become heaps, verse 37, a dwelling place for dragons, an astonishment and a hissing without an inhabitant, showing you that it's not talking about ancient Babylon or the Assyrian Babylonian Empire, but talking about this modern day Babylon. Wait a minute. All right? Because you still have people dwelling in Babylon. Okay, wait till I'm done. 2 more minutes. Open the closet. All right? And without inhabitant. People are still dwelling in ancient Iraq. People are still dwelling in Babylon. It says, they roar together like lions. They shall yell as lions' whelps. In the heat will I make their feast, and I will make them drunken, that they may rejoice and sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake, saith Yahweh. I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams with the he-goats. You see? How was Seshet taken? How was the praise of the whole earth surprised? How is Babylon become an astonishment among the nations? Because the Lord is going to burn this place with nuclear fire, man. Read Revelation, the 18th chapter. The sea has come up upon Babylon. She is covered with the multitude of the waves thereof. Her cities are a desolation, a dry land, and a wilderness, a land wherein no man dwelleth. Talking about America's future, man. Sure, you ain't talking about ancient Babylon. It says, neither doth any son of man pass by there. See? So this place is going to burn, man. All right? And the elect are going to be delivered out of this place. The 2/3 that are here in America are going to be burnt with nukes. And the elect is going to be delivered, man. And this place is going to burn, man. All right? And as you can see, this place is totally open for the defense, for the invasion of these nuclear missiles, man. And this is how Babylon the Great is going to become the great desert where no man is going to dwell there but desert creatures, man. So, hey, with that, I'm not going to read any more of the article because it goes into other shit, but that was just the main point of it. So, hey, with that, Lord willing, you were edified. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. To give me the spirit to do this lesson, Lord willing, you were edified. Until the next one.